Anyone can start. You want to start?
Sure. Okay, so I said I believe that genetic engineering should be used on plants and sometimes animals and humans depending on the case.
Okay.
Like, I agree with Chloe because depending on the case, not always, but we should do it sometimes, like, because it can cure diseases.
You have it right here. Because it can cure diseases.
Yeah.
Ask her for her evidence.
Oh,
What's your evidence?
This sort of testing is a particularly attractive choice for individuals who are at risk for diseases that have available preventive measures or treatments, as well as people who might carry genes that have significant reproductive recurrence risks, and that's on the Genes and Identity article.
I agree because. I disagree because. I think this.
I think that it should not be used on humans always because people have studied GMO crops and human life and health. This helped determine the impact of the GMO crops on plantations and human and animal health.
Was that a squirrel? I'm not sure. Are we talking about humans or crops or all of it?
We're talking
Humans.
Yeah.
Talking about humans.
The human life, and it's not on the plantations where like the crops are growing and when they give them.
But are we talking about genetically modifying humans, or are we talking about eating genetically modified foods?
Modified foods.
Okay, come on, guys, let's play.
Another reason is not a good outcome always comes out if it's done to humans or animals.
Can you say that louder?
Not a good outcome comes out all the time for humans and animals. Evidence. Scientists try to change mice's memory. They changed its embryos that could greatly improve the learning and memory. But
Can you say that in English? I'm sorry. You're reading monotone like a direct quote or exactly what you wrote, and it's just not sinking in for me. So one more time.
Not a good outcome if it is done to a
Not an outcome?
Good outcome. Like if they do this.
If they do what?
Like genetically modify for humans and animals.
So that we genetically modify humans. What?
It's not good to do that to them. And evidence, scientists try to change mice's memory. They changed its embryos. It's greatly improved its learning and memory, but also cause sensitive to pain. So it's in.
Okay. Are you trying to figure out what to write? You just pick one of these. Was she adding? Did she give evidence? Did she ask a question? So I went with adding in evidence. I put down both because she did both in the same breath. Okay, now the rest of you respond to that. Respond to what people say.
Well, like for GMOs, they're kind of like they can affect if you use them like improperly. They can affect like the way you act and like your growth and stuff. Like they can have a positive outcome out of it or a negative one. It depends on the way you use it.
It's kind of what I said with the like reactions to GMO. There could be like a good outcome. It just depends on how it affects your body. So that's why it just kind of depends on.
And it depends like what kind of like if it's like a life or death situation because you don't want to do it just to like be smarter or something, or you want it to be like don't just do it to like be better. You have to like do it like you need to have it to live, or like it has to be productive.
So those were just 3 squirrels, and no one is calling it. What's going on? What are we talking about?
Gene therapy.
Are we, or are we talking about
That's what we
ingesting
started
crops, GMOs?
I thought we started with
Which one are we talking about?
Yeah, let's do that.
I need some
Therapy.
evidence. Come on. When somebody says something, I want you to reply to what they said. Yes, I agree. No, I don't agree. What did you mean by? Are you talking, like, for Julia's, I would have expected you to say, are you talking about plants or are you talking about people? Someone should have stepped up and said that. And then we kept on the plant thing, and then we went back to humans. I don't get it. Where do you want to start? Who talked before Julia?
Jada.
What did Jada say?
Starting with humans and animals.
Let's just pick one.
Animals.
I thought we were talking
Or
about humans.
humans.
She said we shouldn't do gene therapy on humans.
We shouldn't do gene therapy on humans at all.
No,
Only if it's like for like a good cause.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And so the rest of you should ask.
Why?
Or
Why do you think
for
we should?
evidence.
Yeah, what's the evidence of that? Why do you think?
what's a good cause in your opinion? Okay, I'm gonna shut up. You guys, come on, let's play. And don't put me down. I'm not contributing much. I'm just trying to keep the squirrels like focused. So,
I agree with Jada because I don't think that humans should be allowed to just like do it for like designer babies. Like they shouldn't just be allowed to like do gene therapy and stuff like that to make them better than other people, but it should be allowed to like maybe like cure breast cancer. Like
whisper.
I agree with Ava because I think that it should be something useful and that could benefit their life and make it better.
we can't even repeat what you said.
I said I agree with you because I feel like it should be something that's beneficial and that they could actually use and like be more useful in their life and not just like show it off, I guess.
Does anybody disagree? Talk up if you disagree. Does anybody disagree with gene therapy at all? Do we have anybody in here?
There could
Anyone.
be like bad results in it, like
or something could go wrong where it changes other traits that they didn't want.
You need to repeat yourself louder.
like it could result badly. They can if it's not really legal.
Or it can change other traits that they didn't want to be changed if it doesn't go right.
I agree with those two because only the wealthy people will be able to afford gene therapy.
Wouldn't affordability be a concern all the way around?
Yeah, because even if you do like need it badly more than the people that can afford it and you can't afford it, then that's a problem.
And like the rich, like the more rich would like
Okay.
they could use it to like make themselves better and it would make us seem like we're not as good as them even though we probably are. They just have more money than we do.
Um, yeah, I agree that they shouldn't be able to, that gene therapy shouldn't happen because just the rich can afford it. Because, if they use it to cure their own diseases, everybody that's not rich that can't afford it could die, and then everybody that's rich would just be the ones that survive. So just the rich people can't do it.
So no one should have it.
I think some people should have it because like
If it's like life or death.
Yeah.
Life or
If you
death.
need to do it,
Just depends on the
just like-
situation.
Yeah, it depends on the situation.
And it's just not to do it, just to have it. It should be
because
To be
that's
cool.
It's
Like,
like
it's
a
a life
positive
or death
aspect.
situation.
athletic.
Don't
or you
just
want to
do
be
it.
tall, or
Like to
do it there.
improve
Yeah.
Don't just do it for yourself. Do it if
Like,
you really
like
truly
Yeah,
want it, not just
absolutely.
for fun of it, I guess.
Well, besides that, I don't think animals should be genetically modified for testing either. Because if humans just want to play around with animals and they don't want to get tested by themselves, I don't think animals should be.
I think it's wrong to like do it to like wait till like I don't know how to word it, but like we should only do it if it's like necessary. It doesn't really hurt them or doesn't like break like the food chain or anything like that. Because we don't want to like do anything to the food chain because then that a chain reaction could happen.
Because animals have different like reactions to the thing, so if it has a bad reaction, the animal ends up dying just because it's not suited for it. Then I feel like you should only really do it to them if it's really needed.
And it's not like really fair to them because they don't have a choice. It just kind of happens.
It could be beneficial to humans because it could make like better proteins for us. Because some humans like selectively breed honeybees for like our better.
We still have to breed cows too. Not for the betterment of the cows.
But they
Of
don't
their
even like
calves.
want it to happen.
Well, we can't know if they want it to happen
Yeah.
because
So
Yeah,
that's why
they
it's not good to do it.
only if it's necessary.
I think that, I think
like when your dad.
Hamburgers are necessary.
Yes.
It's called the hamburgers.
Impossible Whopper.
Yes, they are.
Possible Whopper.
Yes.
You could choose anything to eat, and you choose
Hamburgers.
You
But,
could
like,
eat
only
chicken.
like life
You could
and
eat a
death.
hot dog. You could
Hamburgers.
eat like
Hamburgers.
some random.
Guys,
I'm not tempted.
There's a scientist that concluded that eating plants is better than
Yeah, but we also need cows. For
You
other
need the red.
certain
You
get
things.
more
need the red
energy.
meat.
And
You need the red
food
meat.
does
You
not
get more
have to be one
energy
of
from
them.
plants.
You need the red
Fine
meat and
steak.
glutathione.
And it's more direct.
Still doesn't have to.
Fine pizza.
Yes, off topic.
Yes.
Go back to topic. Okay, so does anyone think that there's anything good about this, or does everyone agree?
I think
Good about what?
I think it could be good for humans.
I
Like
think
not
that-
necessarily the animals, but it could be like better for us to digest and stuff if we do this. Like we could like not get salmonella.
What's your evidence on it? So what if it does go wrong, that there is something wrong with it, and then it
Well,
affects
if
us?
you go in and change that by gene doping, it could make us not get.
But it's still
But what
just
if it doesn't?
Bad effect.
What if there is a bad outcome of it, and it's not a possible thing to do?
Are we talking about like animals and plants or like all together?
Like
She-
the whole,
she-
like, she was talking about humans because that was
I thought it was about if
But
it'd be
it's
good
our
to do it on
effect
animals.
from animals to
So do you guys think
there could be
it can
negative
still
and
affect
positive
us
outcomes
from
of doing it.
I guess you just have to take the chance and see how it goes.
I know there's a lot of people talking, but don't give up on keeping track of where we're at. These are good conversations. So I think you may have hit the point of some animal issues. What's the purpose of us raising animals?
To
reproduce.
It's
for
our
food.
benefit.
It's for our
yeah,
benefits,
for our
not
benefit,
theirs.
not
Yeah, it's for
theirs.
our benefit so that we can have food so that we can survive.
Or
Yeah,
make money
more
off of
food.
them.
Yeah,
We
Kind of
could do
lifestyle.
benefit, like you could make it benefit the animal, like if they have like bad genes or something.
But we only do that if it serves our purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they have a bad gene, we don't want to reproduce them, and we're not going to fix them unless it's going to fix their offspring so that we can eat them, or use their wool, or use their, right? And so some people don't have any problems eating tasty animals, and some people do, and there's arguments for both, right? But the purpose of it's not like fixing a pet, which might be considered a member of the family, and so people are willing to go to great extremes to fix a dog or a cat or a horse to keep, right? So here, we are raising them for our benefit, and so we select the traits either through technology or through selective breeding. But then the concern is if we're messing with them genetically and we eat them, that's where we get human impact. What will that do to us? And here you could talk about plants as well.
Like maybe it will do something to us, or like maybe it won't. Like depending on the alteration that we make on the animal, like maybe it'll affect us and maybe it won't.
I don't think that genetic modification on animals should be allowed unless it like benefits the animal. Like they could like change something in the animal genes to make it suit the environment better. Maybe if it was like growing extinct or something.
Is it worth the money for that?
I mean, maybe if it's like really important to the food chain.
But our food chain's pretty secure.
Unless something like
It just
that
depends how
would-
like beneficial it is to like the person. Is it really gonna be worth spending all that money on?
Yeah, but I'm talking about the difference between wild animals and domestic animals that we eat. Because when we're talking about genetic modification, generally we don't go out into the wild and modify them genetically. Not even to save them. Might be a good transition to plants and what happens when we eat them. With people who haven't spoken yet, our conversation is being dominated by a few. It's time to speak up. We haven't heard from several of you.
I think genetically modifying crops could be good because it can help it can be resistant to bugs and stuff that can kill the crops, and crops could be better for us than most stuff like meat. So I think genetically modifying some crops is good.
I agree with Sebastian because there hasn't really been any bad effects yet. Like they thought that it might cause cancer, but there's no evidence towards it, and they thought that it might cause there might be allergic reactions, but yet there's been no evidence of it. So nothing bad has happened because of the GMO food. We've been eating it all these years and we didn't even know, and we're fine, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you
I
think?
agree.
I agree because it like helps the nutritional value.
I also agree because they're like very thoroughly tested before anything, like they sit in the lab. Make sure you see.
and I agree with Sebastian because if you genetically modify it, then it could produce more crops, so then it could potentially help solve world hunger.
Yeah, it could help.
I agree.
Yeah, it helps like food security
It helps.
and
Like people
Malnutrition is bad around the world, and that helps with it.
Is anyone against genetically modifying plants
Are
and
you
crops? No.
What do you think?
I think that it could solve a lot of problems, and it doesn't. There's nothing that shows that it could start any problems. People say, what if it starts? What if it causes cancer? What if it transitions to us? Well, what if it solves world hunger? What if it solves malnutrition?
And
we have evidence that it could fix those things, but no evidence for the transitioning to us or cancer. So
I'm not saying I agree, but I'm not saying I disagree. How do we know that there's going to be a positive outcome if we haven't used it yet?
we have been using it.
But we haven't been using it enough to know what our positive or our negative outcome would be.
Because there's been both, it kind of just depends.
Julia, find that quote from the American Cancer Society. Which
That's
article was that in?
That's on pros and cons article. So I have it right here in my notes.
Everybody go.
It's the American Cancer Society have said that there is no evidence for this. That's one of them.
But keep going, Julia. Read the rest of it. Someone help her out.
however they
We'll
know
need,
that
like, more
no
research.
evidence.
I want her to read it, but I want you to help her find it. Where is it?
It's under pros and cons.
And then on like
right
the
here.
So you see where it talks about American Cancer Society?
Under the cancer.
Says there's
Or
no
just go to find and look up cancer.
However, they know that.
So it says that the American Cancer Society said that there is no evidence for this. However, they note that the no evidence of harm is not the same as the proof or safety that reaching a conclusion will require more research.
And that's how you score your claim. So we've been doing it a long time. We've been using these. However, how hard is it to prove what causes cancer? Is it hard to prove in a person's life what caused their cancer?
Yes. Because there's all these things that they've done in their past.
There's all these things that they've done, right? They could have smoked, they could have drank, they could have come in contact with chemicals, they could have eaten GMOs, they could have eaten organic, they could have had a habit of something, not wearing sunscreen. Yeah.
I agree with Julia. I think we just don't have enough evidence to say that GMOs are safe.
Yeah, that's why I don't think that GMOs should be used on plants because they could be affecting us in a bad way. Because yes, it could solve like world hunger, but we could be feeding people things that could cause cancer from food.
But would we rather have how many people dying from malnutrition than maybe take a chance and try to help out the world hunger, and then in the future maybe we find out that maybe it's not that good for us, but at least we help them then, and then we can know that we need to increase like non-GMO foods, and we can start doing that, and then we can help out with world hunger.
I agree with Ava.
Yeah, I agree with Ava because it
I
is
agree
more
with Ava,
beneficial for us, even if there's like those few things that we don't even know for sure if it could affect them.
What if we banned?
GMO food?
What if?
Then
There'd be less
Well,
food.
then I
It'd be
feel like
less
I feel like we've
food.
been
And
making things
And
worse.
GMOs have
Where's your evidence to back that up? If we banned GMO foods, we'd have less food. What's in there about it?
40% of Australia's cotton is genetically modified.
Gotta be a lot of stuff. Sorry. Yeah, they're in that part.
What did you say, B?
What were you talking about?
Yeah, B, what were you saying?
Can you please restate that?
40% of Australia's cotton is genetically modified. So
if we took that away, we'd
So
almost
cotton's
60%.
not food, but there are things that talk about food, growing crops. You should be looking in your articles and notes. So I think you got my email.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. How many acres?
98.
98 million acres. And so there's another one that mentions 80 something, 90 something percent somewhere else about soya in the United States and Brazil. It's one of the
93% in the US and 100% in Argentina. The adoption rates for GM soya stands at 88% in Brazil, 93% in the US, and 100% in Argentina.
So soya, soybeans.
Yeah, so odds are you've been ingesting GM crops for a while now.
Yeah, if we have more areas to grow GMO crops and we find out it's good, we can just get rid of all farms to have more room for other places. So people who work on farms can work in little places for GMO foods, and we can have more of those around, but it would be less room and more room for other stuff that could help our world better. Like there's only 1/3 of the world's land or something like that, and we don't have much land in the world, so we want more land for other stuff too.
And that would be beneficial for the.
I disagree because people might use that land for something that's not beneficial when the GMO crops
And
are
not
solving
use it
a
for
bunch of problems as it is. So you
Yeah.
might as well keep on doing it if it's beneficial for more people than it's not.
Or use it for the wrong reasons than what they think they're supposed to use it for.
Another reason this could be dangerous is because scientists won't share all of the problems that they know it can cause.
Evidence?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, me too.
If you haven't talked yet and made a significant contribution, you have 5 minutes.
Robert, what's your opinion?
Do you think these crops are beneficial and we should continue to do it?
Yes.
Why?
What's your evidence?
Why do you think they're beneficial?
Where do you think that?
Tate, what do you think?
Yeah, what's your
point of view on what we've been talking about?
Do you like GMOs?
Well, it depends what they're for. Like,
what would you write down for your claim?
genetic engineering should not be allowed on humans.
Why do you think that?
What's your evidence?
Like, we don't know the long-term effects on it.
We don't know the long-term effects on a lot of things, but people still do it.
Anything else? Kelsey? Not Kelsey.
Haley.
Sorry, Haley.
Haley, what do you think? I very curious because we don't know a lot of extra things. We don't know what there's
So 26 years and 98 million acres is not enough evidence.
You could always say, oh, we just haven't found it yet.
I think we have enough evidence.
Just to support what?
What's some of
Yeah,
the
what's
evidence
What's
that
the
you
evidence
have?
we have to support?
What's the evidence that
It's that we
you
have 28 years and we had millions upon millions of crops grown, and nothing we haven't found anything bad happening yet.
Someone in another class actually printed off cereal box information, and they found Frosted Flakes was GMO, and Honey Nut Cheerios was not.
Honey Nut Cheerios.
Bless
They
you.
have GMOs in like cereal that we eat.
Yeah.
Is that what makes it like
One of my favorite
GMO is sugar.
where we're
Sugar is
always
addictive,
Yeah.
and sugar can be a GMO too, because it comes from a plant.
Is it GMO all the time?
I don't know. I'm not really sure.
What do you think?
I think if you look, you can find some non-GMO sugar.
What you like?
I find that I think the genetic engineering should not be allowed on humans.
Anyone want to desperately increase their grade? Oh. One more thing to say? Do you have one more thing to say? All at once. Ready, go.
I
Sometimes
think that
it's
genetic
Okay, so I'm gonna stop the debate, and then maybe you can add that to your reflection. But time's up. So about the debate, other than this was hard, I couldn't keep track of anything. I know.
It actually wasn't that hard.
Okay, good. Some people just find it difficult to do that much multitasking. The point of that was, yes, it's hard, and you will have situations in your life where you have to keep track of this stuff and do this and do that and do this and do that. So, you were writing notes too, in addition to the code. Okay, extra. And you were doing that for a while too. Yeah. How did the conversation go?
I think it was good.
At first we need to work on like finding
the evidence though. I think.
we need to like keep the conversation going.
I think we're just
And
too
I think
embarrassed to
everyone
come
needs
to
to be like included in the
And we don't
Well,
want to
you
say
do,
things.
but I mean, you talked. You know, there were some people who were a
I had,
little
like, two
quieter, right?
scores.
I think you caught on
I
really
said
quickly
on this side.
to your generic. Why do you say that? What's your evidence? Like that
We
became
need
a
to push
canned
each other a little
response.
more.
You do need to push each other, but you need to be a little more refined with that. So think about how to question people to get them to pull out their ideas a little bit more. You know, which is what teachers are trained to do. I ask questions to try and get information out of you so I can understand if you're learning it or not. You know, and so that's something I've been trained to do, and you haven't. This is probably the first instance you've been given an opportunity to talk with this. But it happens in the adult world all the time, which is why I feel we're so in trouble because you're not real good at it when it comes to politics. They're not able to have civil discourse because they don't act appropriately. So what I need now is for you to staple your tracking sheet to the top of your packet. Make sure your name is on it. Turn it in with a cover sheet. Check your name off, please.
I did 3.
Yep. Turn in everything you have.
said 2 games.
Thank you for watching this episode.
That's
Bye-bye.
Thanks for
Wait, no, everybody's gonna die.
We will be back after this commercial
Yeah,
break.
say hi to Ella and Lacey.